Being only the second woman ever to win Best Director at the Oscars, Chloe Zhao has started to make a name for herself in the film industry. And after seeing all four of her movies, I thought I'd rank them from my least favourite to favourite. She isn't one of my favourite directors, but she's certainly one I admire for her natural and unique style of filmmaking. So without further ado, let's count down and rank these films directed by Miss Chloe Zhao.
Well, I think I'm searching for something that I want answers for in life, and I was raised an atheist, and I wasn't, this idea of spirituality and doesn't really make any sense to me, and I think that's because there is a separation between organized religion and what spirituality is for people who live so close to nature, and that's something I didn't understand until I traveled out to South Dakota to the reservation. When you're that cut off from all of this, when you have to humble yourself to the weather, to the land, to the animals, there is a groundedness. I think a lot of spiritual practices come out of nature, So I think I'm attracted to telling stories that somehow related to nature because it's a reflection of humanity.
Kicking off this list at number 4 is Chloe Zhao's directorial debut film, Songs My Brothers Taught Me, which isn't a terrible movie, it's just the weakest out of these four. This film centres around the bond of these two Native American siblings living on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. Their absentee father sadly passes away, and this is about the aftermath of how they cope with life after this event, because their older brother is in prison and their mum is struggling as well, being obviously single. I was really impressed when I watched this movie because of how natural and raw Chloe Zhao's style really introduces her style to us audience members, and the fact that she also uses these amateur actors rather than A-listers is also impressive, and these performances are really convincing. My only flaw with this movie is I found it to be really long-winded, because I felt disappointed because it had such a grounded and interesting concept. I was surprised at how slow this movie was, but even though it's only like an hour and 40 minutes as well. Although I still think this is an impressive debut film. It's not really my kind of film anyway, but I recommend you check this out if you want to see Chloe Zhao's origins as a director. Taking the bronze on this list is the MCU's latest edition, Eternals. I know this film has gotten some bad reviews recently upon its release, but I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I think this entry was quite unique thanks to Chloe Zhao's directing. She was trying to make this unique, although I feel like its main flaw was the storyline, because it was really slow paced and it could have been cut to 2 hours rather than 2.5 hours. The bits there in the past were the biggest problems I had with this film, because they didn't really feel necessary. But the bits in the present and how they reunite and go on this adventure was very interesting. And also the humour in this film really worked. But I think this film stood out more visually because of Ben Davis' cinematography, which is always a delight in an MCU film whenever he shoots one, and the special effects, because they didn't feel too cheap. They felt really unique. The performances and the diverse cast of characters were definitely also a highlight. Kumail Nanjiani was my favourite in the film. I also praised Richard Madden, Gemma Chan and Angelina Jolie because they're always good in movies. Let's not forget this film actually had a really good MCU score by Ramin Djawadi, the master who brought us the soundtrack to Westworld, to Game of Thrones, and the first Iron Man movie. He's no stranger to the MCU, and he does a really good score for this film, which is you rarely see from an MCU film. I really appreciate Chloe Zhao for trying to make the film unique and different compared to the formulated storylines we have gotten in the MCU, but I personally think the indie scene is what suits her best, and this is why I rank this third on the list. However, I do appreciate that she tried really hard because that's more important, and for her mainstream debut film, it's really not that bad. The runner-up on this list, taking second place, is Chloe Zhao's second movie, The Rider. This film is about a rising rodeo clown who has a life change after a brain injury from his last rodeo. Instantly he is told by the doctors he can never ride horses again, so he tries to change his life completely, and let me tell you, this was a much better movie than her directorial debut. Her second movie was a much more improved movie, using the same style that she was using for the Songs My Brothers Taught Me, and also using other amateur actors. The Rider really tells a fascinating story that puts you in the shoes of its protagonist and makes you feel through these emotions he's going through. It's very similar to the movie Sound of Metal, Riz Ahmed, although instead of this character being like Ruben from Sound of Metal, who was a deaf drummer who had to give up drumming because he went deaf, this is a character who is a rodeo clown who suffers a brain injury. But they are similar storylines, and if you like Sound of Metal, I think you should check this film out too. Although I think I do prefer Sound of Metal a little bit more, I do appreciate what Chloe Zhao's trying to do with the storyline, and the cinematography is also an improvement as well from Songs My Brothers Taught Me, and I like how it really captures the West. And you can tell that both visually and story-wise, how Chloe Zhao has improved as a filmmaker, and that's why I gave it the runner-up spot. Before I reveal my favourite film from Chloe Zhao, I just want to let you guys know you can like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos from me in the future, and hit that notify button to get notified when I release a new video. Also, don't forget to go back onto my channel and check out my other episodes, including episodes of my podcast, The Fleming Film 2, and other reviews and rank lists you can check out on there. Also, don't forget to check out robbiereviews.co.uk if you want to see some daily film reviews. That's robbiereviews.co.uk. And number one of my favourite film directed by Chloe Zhao is Nomadland. This recent Best Picture winning movie is the reason why she won Best Director, being the second woman alongside Catherine Bigelow to do so. I'm not saying that this movie is her best because it's won Best Picture, because I feel like it's overhyped for what it is. I just feel like this movie shows off her talents as a director, and that's why I picked it for the number one spot. Frances McDormand, who is one of my favourite actresses of all time, gives off a really strong leading performance as this woman who's adapting to this new life because she's lost her job and husband, and really gives off a realistic performance of this character, and it is in my top 3 Frances McDormand performances. I also praise the real life Nomadland, who really stood out in the supporting cast and really gave off brilliant performances that stood by Frances and really showed how realistic this film could be. And what really captured it was Joshua James Rich's cinematography that really captured the setting of where she was living and the road, and obviously working at Amazon and meeting all these people, and really captured her journey throughout this. Let's not forget Chloe Zhao's master directing and editing. Yes, she did both jobs in this movie and really crafted a masterpiece from her. Check out this film if you want to see Chloe Zhao's best film, if you've seen Eternals and you want to see other films by Chloe Zhao. Hey guys, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know down below in the comments what your favourite film by Chloe Zhao is, and also make sure to like, subscribe and get notified when I bring out new videos. Also, leave a comment of who the next director I should rank be. I want to do more director videos, so leave a comment on what director I should rank next. If you want to see more of these directors lists, then go on to Robbie's Reviews, that's robbiereviews.co.uk, to see more director lists. We have Edgar Wright coming up, but we've also had ones on M. Night Shyamalan, Sofia Coppola, and legends like Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan. Also, I have a video on here about Lynn Ramsey's rank list. If you want to check that out, it's on my YouTube channel somewhere. And make sure you stay tuned for more videos in the future. And I'll see you very soon. Bye bye!